Here in New England, everyone's got their own version of clam chowder, but the best ones come from the clam shacks. And my personal favorite is from Woodman's up in Essex. And today, Christy's going to show us how to make this at home.
I sure am.
I'm excited for this.
Oh, it's so good. And a lot of New England clam chowders tend to be really rich. They're thickened with flour, or they've got a lot of salty pork products in them. Woodman's is much more austere, simpler. Clams, potatoes, onions, butter, a little cream.
And you can really taste the clams. That's why it's my favorite.
And the clams are nice and tender. And so that's the real trick, and that's what we're going to work really hard on to make happen in this version.
Okay.
We're going to start, though, with potatoes.
Classic ingredient in clam chowder. It's not a chowder if it doesn't have potatoes.
Right. And these are russet potatoes, so what's going to give us a really potatoey potato flavor.
It's a lot of potatoes.
It's 1 3/4 pounds. So I'm just going to cut this into 1/2-inch pieces. Now let's get these potatoes cooking. So I'm putting all my potatoes in a large saucepan, and then I'm going to add cold water to cover the potatoes by 1 inch. I'll bring this to a boil over high heat. But once the potatoes come up to a boil, I'll turn the heat down to medium-low, and then I'm going to cook them only until they're al dente.
Okay.
It's only going to take about 3 minutes. The potatoes have been simmering for about 3 minutes, so I just want to test these. Remember, I said we just want them al dente, and they should still be a little resistant to a paring knife going in there. They're just right.
They're just cooked on the outsides, but the inside is still underdone.
Right. Now I'm going to drain these in a colander, and then I'll transfer them to a bowl where I'll let them cool completely, which will take about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Julia, my potatoes have been hanging out for about 30 minutes. They're completely cool.
Okay.
So we're ready to move on to clams. Woodman's is located right on the coast. They're a clam shack.
Exactly.
They've got access to fresh clams, and so do we here in Boston, but not everyone does. We wanted to make sure that this recipe was not only accessible, but also more affordable for anyone who might want to make it. So I'm starting with 2 6.5-ounce cans of chopped clams.
Okay.
And I'm going to add both of them to my cooled potatoes.
I've never seen chowder made like this.
We'll add the onions.
What?
That I meticulously chopped.
It's a cold start chowder. This is incredible, Christy. You're breaking all the rules. I love it.
Love it. A teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. I'm going to mix this all together. The reason we're doing this is because most of the time you build flavor in your chowder on the stovetop, right? That's where you let all the flavors come together. But heat is the very thing that's going to make these clams feel like little erasers in your mouth,
Yes,
right?
I've had that chowder.
So we want to kind of marry all these flavors, let that infusion happen. The clams into the potatoes, the onions into the potatoes into the onions. We want to let that happen off the heat first. Now, if you wouldn't mind holding that zipper lock bag, it's a 1 gallon. You want to make sure it's nice and big.
Okay.
And we're going to transfer this into the bag. It's a little juicy.
Why the bag?
Because we've got a lot of strong smelling, finely chopped onions, and we've got clams and clam juice in here. And those are smells that maybe you don't want infusing your refrigerator's contents.
Okay, I got it. So this is for the stink factor.
Yes. Thank you. So we'll just make sure that this is tightly sealed. Now this is going to go and sit in the refrigerator. We want the flavors to marry for at least an hour, but it can sit in there for up to 24.
Okay.
Julia, I have our infusion of potatoes, chopped clams, and onions in a large saucepan.
Good.
But we can't start this chowder without talking about the star, which are some whole baby clams.
Oh, nice. In addition to the chopped clams.
Yes. So I have 2 10-ounce cans of whole baby clams.
Okay.
And I'm going to strain these. So I want 1 cup of the brine.
Okay.
You should get that from the 2 cans, but if you don't, you can always just add a little water to make sure you have the right amount.
Okay.
This is perfect, so I'll add this to the potato clam mixture along with 1.5 teaspoons of table salt. Now I'm going to bring this up to a bare simmer over medium heat.
So a bare simmer, what does that even mean?
A bare simmer is talking about those little bubbles that you start to get around the edges of the saucepan. We're starting this out on medium heat. It's going to take a while to get those bubbles.
Yeah, well.
But you have to give it the time. You can't turn the heat up to get there faster because the whole thing is this slow heating of the potatoes to get them cooked to where we want them. Julia, it's been about 10 minutes.
I see bubbles.
You see just little bubbles around the outside. And I've been going in and stirring this pretty frequently just to get a gauge, to make sure you don't have potatoes sticking on the bottom or scorching or anything. So this is great. I turned the heat down to medium-low, and we're going to let this go until the potatoes are mostly done.
All right.
For 5 minutes. It's been about 5 minutes. So now we can add the clams.
Okay.
And now I'm also adding 2 cups of light cream.
Light cream.
Light cream. It's not too rich, not too heavy, but it gives it that nice creamy feel. And if you can't find light cream, you can always use 1.5 cups of heavy cream and cut it with about 1/2 cup of whole milk. I'm going to turn my heat up ever so slightly to medium, and we're going to let this cook, stirring it occasionally until the potatoes are fully cooked and the chowder is nice and hot throughout. Just 5 more minutes.
Christy, that is looking like soup.
The potatoes are tender, so I'm going to take this off the heat, but we're not quite finished.
Okay.
We added some cream, but we need a little bit of richness in the form of some nice, flavorful butter. So I have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Adding it off the heat is also going to allow it to kind of melt into the chowder without breaking, so it's going to keep that creamy consistency. This isn't quite as thick as some traditional New England clam chowders. So, an optional ingredient, this is 2 tablespoons of instant mashed potato flakes.
That's brilliant.
Right?
'Cause it'll dissolve into the soup and thicken it without having a discernible flavor.
Right. Oh, well, it tastes like potatoes. And we just happen to have potatoes in this chowder already. Okay, so I think this is good.
I love that you have mugs. I love eating chowder out of mugs. I don't know what it is about chowder and mugs. A mug or a bread bowl. The classic crackers, oyster crackers.
Well, you can't eat it without.
No, you can't. Christy, this soup looks amazing. Oh, Christy, this is delicious. This is really close to Woodman's with the consistency and that potent clam flavor. I'd be hard pressed to know that it was canned and not fresh clam.
I agree. And I think that, you know, if you're buying quality canned clams, you're not going to notice a difference.
Christy, this is delicious. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
To make this incredible clam chowder, use 2 types of canned clams, chopped clams and whole baby clams. Undercook the potatoes slightly and let them marinate with some of the clams, and simmer the soup very gently. From Cook's Country, a spectacular recipe for Woodman-style clam chowder. This is my new recipe. This is incredible.
Thanks for watching Cook's Country from America's Test Kitchen. So what'd you think?
Leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or just say hi.
Now you can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
Alligator.